You're listening to
Hot Sauce Sports with Mo Cohen, Peeze and Terry Tam.
I now know that I'm on with a spy, depending on who's the captain of this ship. And that's probably a bad thing if this podcast is supposed to go viral, isn't it?
Cordero Patterson like grabbing some shanks, gentleman here, and he quote, and I quote, "I'm a grown man. I don't need nobody blank in my balls, my face."
In my teenage years, I'd get back from high school, I'd smash 2 pizza pockets. Carmelo Anthony never learned you can't live life just smashing pizza pockets.
Because he lost a double bet, what I did is I cut a jalapeno in half, and I filled it with hot sauce. So he's going to have to slurp this down.
Why you give me a fucking banana, dude? I'm not eating a banana. I'll rather piss in my mouth than eat this.
Okay, so there we go. Stop stalling. Let's go. Go.
Now, here are your hosts, Mo, Terry, and Peeze.
Welcome everyone you are listening to and perhaps watching Hot Sauce Sports. We have a fantasy-friendly show today. Terry Tam, who co-hosts the show with me every week. Look how awkward and clunky I made that.
Why are you so awkward and clunky?
I've always been clunky, so I decided to add awkward to the mix.
I would define you as clunky.
You would define me as clunky?
Yeah, clumsy, chunky.
I'm having a hard time seeing you guys back here.
Yeah, I know. Hey, what the fuck is up with this shit? Usually I had a perfect view right to your face.
I like how you have to sit very uncomfortable.
We set this up last week like this.
You did. You created your own problem.
But I don't know how.
I mean, because you.
How else was it placed?
What you're doing is you're asking people with all the talent to do the grunt work.
Yeah,
that's never gonna work.
Now you can appreciate how much work it actually takes to make you look good.
So where would you?
I don't appreciate what you didn't do.
It's true.
Eagle of Master Control, producer of the show.
So Duke did a half episode last week.
That's right. He ran out like he had the shits.
Yeah,
I'm good now.
Did you have the shits?
Sure, why not?
Can you describe them?
Because Eagle was
terrible.
late again.
What was the topic that we didn't know what it was because he didn't add a description?
there was something on the show. It was like
it was choke job.
It was
choke job.
Rapid fire, and then there was nothing
choke
written.
job. It said choke job.
It just said choke job.
What was the topic?
Can't remember, boys.
All right.
Because I listened to the podcast and I'm like, yeah, it's true. Fuck, he just put some random shit into the prep and didn't even tell us what it was, and then left.
Won't happen again. Nah,
it's okay, man.
We're living in a strange time. We're living in a time where the Amazon is on fire and no one seems to be talking about it. Mario Williams shows up in his baby mama's garage, also weird. And then to add more to that, the President of the United States wants to buy another country because ?
And then get upset at other countries for not wanting to buy it either.
Yeah.
With him. It's like, hey, man, it's a good investment. It's like a duplex. Yeah, that's what it is. Greenland is
it's
the
like
duplex.
It's like a duplex in Greenland, though.
Yeah.
It doesn't add value.
Greenland is the duplex of the world. No, you know what Greenland is?
Like Duplex the movie?
Greenland is Greenland is that one fully detached trailer that you just randomly see in the middle of a bunch of other houses.
I'm sure that's what it is.
It's like an extra strip mall now converted to city housing.
Like, people don't live in Greenland.
Well, somebody does. Greenish.
I don't think there's anybody that lives there.
Is the Grinch green? I've always had trouble with this.
Okay, wait. He's with one question at a time. Are you asking about Greenland? Who lives there? I think it's Danish people.
No, nobody lives in Greenland.
There's quite a few.
Of course, people live in Greenland.
No, it's like the population of Greenland.
And according to the physio of the Iceland hockey team in D2, Greenland is mostly green and Iceland is mostly Greenland is mostly ice and Iceland is mostly green.
That's actual. That's right.
As of 2017, there were 58,000 people living in Greenland.
So nobody lives there.
That's like nobody.
That's
fair.
There
are more people in this studio than Greenland.
That's less than the Olympic Stadium.
Yeah, it's basically Joliet.
So do those people automatically become Americans?
Though, if all of Greenland went to the Olympic Stadium, it would be better attendance than the Expos ever got.
Yeah.
Actually, I have more recent. As of June 22nd, the population was 56,670.
How many people died?
Actually, no, it went up by 500 in 2 years.
How is this
nobody's having sex over there?
How is this a good investment?
You know what? In Iceland, there's only like 3 million people, right? Well, 2 facts about Iceland. So one is that there's an app that tells you if a person's related to you, because you can be everybody's related to each other over there. So there's an app that tells you if this person's related to you, like on dating apps and stuff.
It's like Don't.
Yeah. And then when they made the World Cup, 300,000 people from Iceland went to London for the World Cup.
Wow.
10% of the country left to go watch the World Cup.
Eagle, the clock's not working.
It's okay. Eagle, fix this.
Give me random updates to how much time.
You know
why
it's not working? Because it's not plugged in, doof.
Well, that sounds like a producer issue. So, but like,
Yeah, talk to me while he does that.
Yeah, we have the Amazon on fire. We have
Yes.
the president trying to buy Greenland, and on top of that,
I didn't know the Amazon was on fire. Actually,
it's
Dude,
been
I
on fire
only
for
I
3
only
weeks.
just I
It's a
literally
big
just found this
deal.
out 5 minutes ago.
It's a big deal.
That's the thing.
And then more of a big deal.
Yeah.
Spider-Man doesn't have a home. What's going on? Jesus, Terry. Yeah, Spider-Man doesn't have a home. Speaking of bad deals,
Yes.
buying Greenland, maybe not a good deal. Definitely a bad deal. Marvel selling Spider-Man to Sony.
Thank-
To Fox and then Sony.
Thank
seems
God
to
I
be.
was busy. I hate this stuff.
Okay, wait.
Terrible idea.
You hold on a second. What are you saying? Who bought who?
So years ago, like in the 70s
Mm-hmm.
or 80s, it was decided that Marvel didn't want to own the property for Fantastic Four Spider-Man and sold it to Fox and now Sony.
Right. But
who-
Fox belongs
I
to
don't
now
Disney.
think
they-
that's correct.
Yeah, I think you're wrong on that one, but
The reason they sold it is because they were going bankrupt.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what would have made them less bankrupt? Making good Spider-Man movies, which apparently took them till the 2016 or so to do.
So who
Spider-Man.
owns Spider-Man now? That's the thing I don't understand.
Sony Pictures.
Okay, and who owned it before?
Originally,
Yeah.
Marvel
Spider-Man.
created it.
So what's
a
gonna
guy
happen now?
named Spider.
Do I have to see the same origin
named
story
Spider.
for the 50,000th time?
You absolutely do.
Uncle Ben will die
I'm
yet
so
again.
tired of that story.
But listen, whether Uncle Ben is dying or whether he's making rice, one thing we can say for certain is, and now,
Oh, fuck off.
the news.
This is the worst segue ever.
It was the worst one.
I mean, he's making rice, bro. Don't you like rice? What's wrong with you? Terry, there's been so much news. It's a week full of news. A week full. A week full is more than a mouthful.
So
That's
wait,
what I always say.
Here's a mouthful. So when we do that, when Eagle does, I listened to the last few episodes, I can't hear you introducing until the music kind of really gets low.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
The
well.
music's a lot louder than the voice.
Huh.
I'm just saying for future episodes.
It's supposed to be loud. You're not supposed to be talking.
But when he starts talking usually, like now they can't hear me. They'll probably be able to hear start
Terry,
hearing me
it's
now.
a week full of news.
There
You know
you
what's
go.
more than the mouthful? Oh, week full.
Yeah.
See, there we are. The NFL soap opera continues, of course. And we'll start.
Who threw wine in whose face?
Antonio Brown threw helmets full of wine in nobody's face. He did his walkthrough without a helmet. I have a theory about this.
I love that guy, man.
I have a theory
Love
about
it.
this. I feel like Drew Rosenhaus and HBO came up with like a contract to be like, let's just have some sort of controversy. Let's make up a fake controversy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it'll be interesting for Hard Knocks because all of this is stupid, right?
Or he just doesn't want to play preseason,
Also true.
and he had no reason to not play preseason.
Yeah. Well, he had his feet. He could have used his feet.
Yeah, but I think they cleared him to play.
But then been like, but they're still sore.
They circumcised his feet.
My feet are circumcised.
Yeah.
Circumcised. What do I do?
Like they're cold.
Circulation.
Circulation. I mean, I think it's the Antonio Brown show, man, and it's like fucking. It's getting old. You're a Raiders fan. You should know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't think that he wants to be in practice right now.
Go ahead.
So I think that's what it's all about. I don't actually think this is a really big deal. I think that Fox Sports and Colin Cowherd, they just make these things worse because they have all these clips that go out now where they just trash AB. And then they act like he's not going to start playing this whole season and be one of the best receivers in the league.
Yeah, well, that's the
Like,
thing.
he's going to be amazing. He's going to play.
Okay, so you think he's going to be top what?
He's going to be a top 5 wide
In
receiver
what?
in the NFL
In
this year.
what?
In receiving yards,
Yards?
and touchdowns. He's going to be incredible.
I don't see touchdowns. I don't think he's going to get more than 12 touchdowns.
So I think the Raiders' offense, to be fair, is improved compared to last season.
It's improved, but they're focusing heavily on the run
Yes,
because.
but
That's
Josh
rooted.
Jacobs was also a receiving.
Yeah,
back.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so like while I've been super critical of K. Van Gruden on this show,
Yeah.
the reports saying the offense looks far more diverse, far more
Of
interesting.
course, they have JJ. Listen,
report.
check this
Fuck the
out. Check this out.
reports.
But check this out for a second. Look at
I
this
would-
receiving
Analytics
core.
don't lie.
If
But-
it was April O'Neil, I would definitely fuck the reports.
Absolutely.
But check this receiving core out. Okay, they have JJ Nelson, they have Tyro Williams, and Antonio Brown, top 3 receivers right there, all speed threats. Like I think that this offense right now in preseason makes it seem like it's going to be a running option offense.
That's what I think it is.
But the thing is, with this arsenal,
Did you watch
that they
Hard Knocks?
have-
I didn't watch it.
I did. Yeah.
You
Did-
didn't? We have a whole segment.
Episode
based on you
3's
guys
not out
guess
yet.
it.
Episode 3's not out yet in Canada. That's
I saw episode 2. I didn't see episode 3.
Okay.
So, but my point is that they have a very dynamic receiving core. I don't see why this wouldn't work out. assuming that Derek Carr is back to his
because
his
it's
form
the
from 3 years ago.
Raiders.
That's fair.
But honestly, I'm very optimistic about the Raiders this year. I just
Yeah.
they won't make the playoffs only because their division's too strong.
I kind of agree, but I think like people are projecting like as a 6-win team. I seem closer to
8
or 9.
8 or 9, yeah.
But
I
when you
think-
watch
I
when you
think
watch
they
Hard
can-
Knocks, you think they're just going to win everything, you know?
I don't
Honestly, it's the
watch
first.
Hard
It's,
Knocks.
the,
Which
it's
we'll talk
actually
about
the
later.
first year where I'm like, yeah, the team's all right. Yeah, it's good. Like
Yeah.
usually I'm like, fuck, you know, they're gonna be good. Like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Jameis Winston, I was like, man, this guy's amazing, and he sucked.
So far, he has not been.
No.
He's been really good at abusing Uber drivers, but other than that, I think Antonio Brown will be fine. We'll talk to Andy McNamura later on the show about his fantasy stock, where the people who wrote into us, mostly clandestinely through text and through messaging. We'll get to your questions. We'll answer your questions as well as ours about what to do in your fantasy drafts. Andy McNamara, an NFL draft expert. But there's some other questions. So Jerry Jones, when asked about Zeke Elliott, answered Zeke who, and that was answered by the loudest laugh by the most overzealous reporter. Bro, it's not the funniest shit ever. Like, you never heard
That
you
guy's
phone
probably
who
a
this?
diehard Cowboys fan.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
But it's fucking weird, man. He's playing games.
How deep in the can do you think Jerry was? How drunk do you think he was?
In that quote,
Yeah. From like
I'd say he's 2 or 3 whiskeys in.
2 or 3 at least?
Yeah, 2 or 3 in.
Yeah.
And I think at his age, it probably hits him a little harder.
Because he's shrinking.
Yeah,
Shrinkage
Benjamin
is a problem
Button. Yeah, exactly.
with the old and the cold.
Find out how many.
Tell me.
How many drinks did Jerry Jones have when he said that quote?
5.
That was
There's the
good
answer.
research.
Amazing, Duke. You've
Not
improved.
reckless at all.
You've improved while Eagle is still playing Pokemon.
Yeah.
He's like,
Dak Prescott still no extension, but it looks like he'll play without. Do you think Zeke Elliott gets signed gets the extension before the season starts?
I do think that he will get one right before the season starts. Yeah, I don't think Jerry
You don't
Jones.
think it's the Emmitt Smith situation?
That's crazy. Everybody's comparing it to it, but it's pretty much the same thing. But now, where back in the day you relied heavily on a run, where now you don't have to anymore.
But I think Zeke Elliott is different in that his ability in pass protection, his ability to catch passes, his ability as a running back, and to be a guy who carries the ball 400 times. Like everyone talks about James Conner, but to forget he got hurt
for sure.
during the season because that workload's not for everyone.
But my point that when I think about this whole thing, I always worry about what's happening with Todd Gurley with this huge distribution of the ball towards running back. Like you worry about the longevity with these guys, and that's the contract they want. They want a 4-year contract. They want a 5-year contract. You don't know if they're going to last till then.
But but to the player's defense, that's why they want that contract. That's why they want it now. Because they're not willing to wait.
and I want it now.
They're not willing to wait to the point where
It's
their
that
knees are
J.G.
finished.
Wentworth commercial.
It's also because contracts aren't guaranteed, right?
So you have to give the signing bonus.
Yeah, exactly. You need as much money up front, and you need huge contracts. So if the contracts are guaranteed, you're probably more willing to take less money because of the fact that you're guaranteed it.
I honestly think that this kind of stuff is going to lead to a potential lockout in the next CBA agreement for football because the players
Too many
and
people
the
are
owners are
holding out.
miles apart.
Too many people are holding out.
Yeah.
And I think, but with that, they're going to reduce the preseason games and add the 2 games to the season.
Did your headset just explode like mine did?
No,
mine
fine.
just turned on. So
When is the next grievance that's going to happen between the
if
NFL?
only we had a producer research that.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
Dak's still no extension. He'll play without Melvin Gordon. That's not going well.
Still holding out. Yeah.
The LA Chargers owners are cheap as hell. That's why they're in LA in the first place. Is because they didn't want to build a stadium in San Diego. I don't think they're going to pay Eagle.
And it currently extends through the 2020 season.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah, I think so. Like, my question is, do you think he'll bend before? Because he said he's just waiting for a call. Like he's just they know what his stance is, and he's just waiting for a call from the team, and doesn't know that the call's going to come.
I mean, I think Melvin Gordon will come back, but if you look, Le'Veon Bell really set the precedent here.
Mm-hmm.
He really set the bar.
I think Le'Veon Bell, what people didn't appreciate in the moment, everyone laughed at Le'Veon Bell that he lost money with signing with the Jets. But I think, and I don't think he did this for this reason, but in retrospect, he did this for everyone else. Everyone else is going to benefit from Le'Veon Bell's holdout in a sense, right?
It's true. Yeah, there might be like a 30-minute documentary made about him 20 years from now.
Yeah, an
Yeah.
ESPN 30 for 30.
Yeah, exactly. Le'Veon Bell and the holdout.
with that music.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. But so that concludes the football. Like, we're gonna have football leading off into the season.
I'm looking at Duke and he
as a
looks
soap
very
opera.
confused.
What's the confusion?
Sorry, boys. I'm just trying to. I'm down a rabbit hole over here.
What's the rabbit hole about? By the way, I'm just curious.
No, I'm researching these XFL logos, and it's just.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
I
We
know.
asked you to research something else.
Yeah.
though, which I no longer remember what it was.
Same here.
All right.
You started off strong with you answered the question about Jerry Jones's drinks very quickly.
Sorry, boys.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of like just tapering
That's
down.
why.
again.
That's why though you shouldn't necessarily get blazed for a show, but you definitely should get blazed before you do an MLB color commentary.
Oh yeah, Eagle.
Luke Walton is my fucking hero.
I'm Bill, and this is my great friend,
the
the true
highlights.
giant among us, a brilliant genius, one who's able to create beauty out of darkness. And your name?
It's Jason Still.
Okay, and so I'm Bill, and we're in California. What more could you ask for? White Sox and Angels at the Diamond in the park. I love timelessness.
He looks so
You're
confused.
timeless.
He's like,
Well,
what's going on?
I've been dead for quite a few years.
And we all may be by the end of the night.
You're very young. You have no idea what's going to come ahead of you. You have only an idea, a general idea what happened yesterday. But today is your day to come out and make this incredible impact on the world and everything.
Who's he talking
and
to?
I am lucky to stand here today.
And you figured out a way. There's a base
We're
hit.
on our way.
That's your guy,
Print
James
the
McCann.
banner. Is that the catcher?
It is.
I tell you, I'm not a very good catcher. I'm much better at getting high than getting low. Maui Jim, you're looking like Maui Jim. Man, you're a good-looking dude.
Through that prism.
Yeah. Whoa, I love prisms.
Oh,
Four
my
balls,
God.
you
I
get to
love
first.
prisms.
The
Three
play by
strikes, you're out.
That's right.
You know
Take
who he
me out to
reminds
the
me
ball
of?
game.
Reminds me of Alec
I don't care
Baldwin
if I never
on
come
Friends.
back.
Yeah,
That was
overly
his look at
positive
me.
character.
Oh my gosh. He said, Walton, you are
Friends.
the slowest learner I've ever had.
Good. This
Look at
guy's
him
classic.
run. I mean, that is the epitome of Usain Bolt right there. Not
That's
to
the
that
epitome
point.
of Usain Bolt.
Look
Just
at
to
this
center
defense.
field from Trout. Garcia's not going to have a play, and
Oh
Mike
my
Trout goes
God.
deep.
It was awesome.
He said, "Look at this defense."
That's Trout
It is.
swimming upstream, avoiding all the flies, and sending one ricocheting through the universe.
So what James is trying to do is swim
Trout has
over
42
the tag.
home runs
I
already.
I dove over the top. Yeah,
Why
but
would
you
they
didn't.
just
I
do a
didn't think
replay?
you got
Why
me
did
with
they
the
have
glove,
to do
though.
Why do you have to? It should just be body contact. What if as I come through this way,
Yeah.
I come with the big overhand cross?
That seems aggressive.
Then you're out.
I would say.
This is
out
boxing.
of the game. Here we go.
Beach Boys was my first.
Am I getting
thought.
like
Oh, the
flashbacks
Beach
of like a
Boys.
Gary
Help me
Busey
run.
vibe from him?
Yeah.
Bar, 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 baran.
If anybody plays Bill Walton's movie, it has to be
goes.
Gary
James.
Busey.
Yeah.
Especially after this.
It's gone. Oh my gosh.
First of all, why is he doing
Is that what it's
color,
called?
color for a
That
baseball
one
game?
you
I'll
call.
explain
I
that.
To
call
Saturn.
Grand Slam.
Okay, you can end it here.
Grand Slam. Oh my gosh. Put Ricky in the Hall of Fame today.
There was no Ricky. There was no Ricky in that
What
play.
a fantastic turn of events.
He's on this
If
catcher's
you love the
balls.
Chicago
Same
White
guy.
Sox, and I'm falling in love by
Okay,
the
Eagle, you
breath.
can cut it here.
I apologize on behalf of the human race for destroying your broadcast, and I hope I don't ruin your career, which I think I've already let that bus go by.
So, greatest thing.
He went from so happy to super depressing.
Yeah.
Weed doesn't do that to me.
Well, it's because it ran out.
Oh yeah, that's true. He needs to
He
get
just
back up.
he had no stash by the end of the game. Baseball. That's proof that baseball's too long.
Yeah.
Because if Luke Walton loses his high during your
Bill
broadcast,
Walton.
Oh, sorry, Bill Walton. Sorry, Luke. If Bill Walton loses his high during your broadcast, yo, that means your game is too long. But you know
I
what?
used to always confuse Bill Walton and Dwight Walton.
Nobody's ever done that.
Yeah, because one is black, one's white.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Dwight Howard, also black.
And Dwight Howard. And then Luke Walton. 2-on-2 basketball.
Threesome right there. But the thing is, I loved it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was entertaining. Guaranteed, White Sox and Angels fans are vomiting everywhere, just all over Reddit, complaining because that's what Reddit is just a giant negative circle jerk.
It's a giant bukkake to nobody.
Facts.
On nobody. Yeah.
With nobody.
Because they just send it out into the world.
It's the collective hive mind.
And there was
Yeah.
nobody there to receive the bukkake.
Yeah, it's the worst.
So it's just a bunch of basically doofuses in a circle circle jerking each other.
I will say there's two things not in this, not in the highlights we just played. He asked at one point what happened after an out. Actually, three things. The second thing was he thought that if you got a triple play with one out, it should carry over to the next inning. Also, genius idea.
Super
by the way.
genius. Super genius idea. Absolutely.
And then there was early in the game. There was a fly ball that was hit. Like it was closer to the infield than the wall, and he was like, "Yeah, it's not. It's the wrong direction. It's not far enough." And I was just like, "Man, poor guy, poor guy,
man."
I enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
It was great, man. You gotta have that shit. You know what? It probably made it fun to watch.
Yep.
And where baseball sometimes, if it's not
when I watch baseball, I don't know about you guys, but when I watch baseball at home, it's usually on mute. No,
Yeah,
I do, and it's on mute.
Oh yeah, I'm mute, and
It's
then
while-
I
it's
won't
while-
have it on.
While I'm playing Madden, I have baseball on the zone.
So I was watching the Yankees Oakland A's game yesterday, and the announcer John Shambi.
Yeah.
I finally saw what he looks like. Never thought that's what he looked like before.
What do they look like?
I'm on it.
Not what I thought he looked like. I've heard his voice millions of times.
It feels like you're avoiding racial undertones.
No, he's legit. I thought he was a white guy. He is a white guy.
Okay, so no racial undertones.
No racial undertones.
Just overtones.
Yeah. No, that's a terrible picture.
That's what you thought he looked like.
No, I wouldn't have given him a redhead.
Should probably show this on the screen.
Show it on the screen, yeah.
Because there are people
it doesn't
watching.
help us to show.
I
Doesn't
wouldn't
fucking help, boys.
I wouldn't have. No, this is not what he looks like at all. I mean, it looks
Just put
like
it up, Eagle, no matter what it looks like.
but
Just
he
put
had
it
like
up.
hipster glasses and shit.
The first John Shambi you see. This is taking forever.
Take
Yeah.
longer.
What sucks is that
Take
Look,
longer.
it's not our fault that he gave us the most random person to look up.
I have nowhere to go because I have to throw to Eagle
There he is.
for the
okay.
transition here.
So yeah, so he had like hipster glasses. His hair was kind of curly.
So
he was in a suit.
None of this.
He was also he's a lot bigger than I thought he would look.
Bigger
like.
than that?
No, this is what he looks like. This is what he is.
But the name
I thought he was a thin guy.
The name John Shambi sounds like
It could be John Shambi, Shambe.
But it's like Chunkby. John Chunkby.
John Chunkby? Okay, anyway. I'm just saying is that these baseball guys, I never know what they look like. But they all have beautiful voices.
Beautiful voice from a baseball guy is Nick Castellanos. And he
Latino.
he had an interesting perspective on what is and isn't opening day.
Day, not opening day.
Just because it's not opening day. I mean,
Prove to me that it's not.
well, your record.
Well, that's only if you believe your record. You know, it's kind of the mentality like, if what has happened is a memory and what's going to happen is a thought, you're taking yourself out of right now. So in that case, every day is opening day.
What the fuck did we just watch?
My mind's blown, bro. My mind's blown.
Completely lost.
Maybe there's CTE in baseball. Because that guy is fucked up.
Yeah. That's intense.
But I get what he's trying to say. I get what he's trying to say. Yeah.
Maybe.
It's like like what you get into halftime and you're down and the coach will tell you it's 0-0. I think that's what he's trying to get to.
Okay.
But that part about the thought and what's happening.
Yeah.
Maybe you should not hang out with Bill Walton so much.
I love that. I love what he's like. He's like, well, what if that's only if you believe your record?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
no, we don't know.
No,
we
you're
don't
saying
know.
it.
I don't know what you mean.
It wasn't
bro.
me that said it.
I don't know what
It
you
was
mean.
all you, Nick. Big dick, Nick.
Nick Castellanos.
High as fuck, Nick.
But again, give me more of that in baseball.
Yeah.
So, but how soon does he get a random drug test after this happens?
Well, how soon does he get a random drug test?
Speaking of drugs in baseball,
No,
the use of
no. That's later in the show. Read the script one time before we start the show. That's literally the least amount of work. I even write your parts for you.
Okay.
You just have to read it after. We'll talk about drugs in baseball later, but for now, we'll go into round ball, the other round ball, basketball. That is, Royce.
Your segues
White,
are fucking brutal today.
Royce White sounds off about Melo and him not joining the national team here.
Absolutely being blackballed. He's one of the realest in it. He's one of those dudes that, he ain't like me. He don't talk like brash and straightforward like that, but he has those morals and principles, and he's given too much to the game for them not to allow him to play or for them to, kind of culturally just make make a decision or an agreement that he's not good enough anymore. All of us here that play the game at the highest level know how good Melo is, and we know that there's no way that the Lakers would go out and sign Jared Dudley and not sign Carmelo Anthony.
You know why?
And another question
I don't
is,
think he knows why they signed Jared Dudley.
while a guy like LeBron is walking around here like he's the face and voice of the players, how is he letting his banana boat brother hang out there in the wings and they go sign Jared Dudley and not Carmelo? If anybody watching this thinks that Jared Dudley can hold Carmelo's jockstrap, I'll slap you.
So
Okay.
the question is,
Who is this guy?
he played in the NBA for like a second.
What's
Yeah,
his
for
name?
a second. Royce White.
Royce White. He played for the Iowa Cyclones and
No idea who he is. Anyway, whatever. I'm
but
nobody
the
also.
question is, can he physically hold Carmelo's jockstrap?
Yeah, I mean, that's
Or is
different.
it too heavy for Jared Dudley?
It might be because
Are you calling
Carmelo's probably packing some heat.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And
So-
maybe he needs extra help. Like
So
maybe it's a
three
two-hand job.
reasons why.
4 hands.
One
Banana
reason why
boat
Carmelo
buddy.
hasn't been signed yet, and it's probably the same reason why they signed Jared Dudley over him. He's probably asking for way too much money.
He also wants to start. He also,
wants to start.
He
Like
wants
Jared
to
Dudley's
start.
gonna be
That's
like,
more the issue than the money. 'Cause
I'll play ninth.
I think Melo.
You know what I mean?
I think Melo would take an MLE, but I don't think he's willing to play 8 minutes a night.
I mean,
No,
how much
absolutely
do you pay a guy that's only going to play 8 minutes a night? I mean, you're not going to give him 12 million.
Well,
So-
you give him the MLE. You give him
So
the
this
MLE.
guy
Yeah.
Royce Wade, he's trying
Royce
to
White.
White. He's trying to make.
Wow, that's serious shade.
With the finger in the air, too. Royce Wade?
Royce Wade?
Meryl Streep.
He ain't Dwayne Wade. Tell you that much.
He's trying to turn Carmelo Anthony into the Colin Kaepernick of the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying how he's being he's being culturally whatever the fuck, like basically kicked off the team,
Banana boated.
Banana boated.
You got banana boated, yeah.
So, but the thing is,
Fuck, man. Like,
I will
shut
say,
the fuck
LeBron's never really stood up for any of the members of the Banana Boat. Like he
But
left.
what's his
Wayne,
banana boat?
It's the guys who went on vacation with him one summer, and they were supposed to be the next super team, and it was like him and
So
Dwayne
was it-
Wade, but he left Dwayne Wade in Miami, and then Chris Paul was supposed to make his way over to play with LeBron. That never happened, and then it was Carmelo Anthony, and he also has been not even in the league at this point.
Maybe he's more of a plantain guy.
So why?
That's
How is
dumb.
LeBron's
That's
name
really
brought
dumb.
into this? So how
'Cause
is it
they're friends.
How is it LeBron's fault that Carmelo Anthony didn't get signed somewhere?
Because they sent
How
Jared
is this
Dudley
not all Carmelo's fault?
for not learning how to play defense in 15 years?
And for not being a fucking asshole and asking for way too much that you
I don't think he's an asshole. I've never heard like Carmelo back
acting like an
teammate.
asshole.
I mean,
By asshole, I mean
he's a guy who commands the
asking for too
ball.
many minutes, not playing defense, not being a great teammate, like when it comes to on the court shit, like, just embellishing everything. So to me, I love Carmelo Anthony. I grew up on Carmelo Anthony. I was a fan of him in Syracuse. I've been a fan of him up until right now.
I know. It just I can imagine how hard it is for him to be one of the elite scorers in the history of the game.
Yeah.
To being like a guy who can't make a roster.
Yeah. So
That must be difficult. Like
Brett Favre has the most touchdowns in NFL history,
Mhm.
whatever it is, right? Why isn't he playing now?
because he's old.
Because he sucks.
I
Because he's old.
He's old mostly.
He
He's
sucks
50.
because he's old.
Correct.
And because he sucks, he can't play.
The age difference though between Brett Favre
I'm just saying is
Carmelo
that
Anthony is
Carmelo
massive.
is not playing because he's not as good as some players.
Yeah, I think
To what he
I
wants.
think if you draft a guy, you'd rather give those minutes to that guy versus Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah. You only have 2 rounds. You're not going to spend your money on Carmelo Anthony.
It is surprising though when guys
Vince
go-
Carter hasn't been signed yet.
Vince
is he?
Carter, well, no, but he's much older than Carmelo Anthony.
No, I know, but he hasn't been signed yet.
He's
right?
the only player to play in 4 decades in his career.
Yeah, but so he hasn't been signed yet.
He has not.
Okay, so Vince Carter hasn't been signed yet, and when he said he was going to play one more year, people got mad at him for saying they're not giving a chance to the young guys.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
People say like, why is he still playing? There's young guys that are coming into the league. He's taking up a roster spot to guys that can still play, that want to play. And I'm like, it's the same argument with Carmelo Anthony. Why does he want to continue playing if he's just going to take a spot from a young guy? Carmelo's my age, 34.
Mm-hmm. But like in basketball, that's not insanely old.
It
Most
is.
guys 34 still get a shot.
I guess, but you're coming off the bench.
Like Dwayne Wade was the same age.
But you're
And
coming
coming
off
off the bench.
but
To
coming
be
off the
fair,
bench.
Dwayne Wade came off the bench this
Yeah.
year. Which is like for a guy with Dwayne Wade's cachet,
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
of course. Coming off the bench.
Coming off the bench in Miami for Dwayne Wade. Like, I understand
Yeah.
if he stayed in Cleveland or Chicago and came off the bench, but coming off the bench in Miami when you are Miami basketball?
They were just trying to kind of keep him
Mhm.
involved.
He
in his
was their
last
best
year.
player, though. For certain parts of the season, he was their best player.
Well, he's our best player the entire season, probably.
Yeah.
The guy's amazing.
Well, yes.
No, he just didn't want to play that much, and he knew it was his last year, and he just decided to say, put me in once in a while to sell tickets, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Like tank basically. Tank with me on the team. I'll take it.
Well, if you don't want to tank your fantasy season, you'll stay with us through the break. When we come back, we're going to join Andy McNamura of TSN 1050 of Monkey Knife Fight. He is one of our favorite guests of all time. He is also going to be back with us to talk fantasy football next.
And you can subscribe. Yeah, you can always subscribe.
They get the shows, then they choose to listen to it or
subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and then follow us at Hot Sauce Sports on every social media.
No one, you can't be oversubscribed because that's not a word.
Exactly. So subscribe just the right amount of time.
Be a word.
I got a signed Bernie Kosar helmet.
Hey,
get this.
Beautiful.
So in the Browns locker room, we went on there's a Browns locker room sale, and it's all ex-players, and it's all for nothing. That football there, for $5 signed by Josh Gordon. That was before he signed with the Patriots. So if this dude goes to the Hall of Fame, I'm set for $5.
Come on, Bill. Get him in the game plan, Bill.
Right?
Josh
That's a heck of an investment.
I highly doubt he's on his way to the Hall of Fame.
We're gonna rifle through a few fantasy questions and intermittent because we got actually asked a few questions and stuff by people who didn't want to actually put it. They didn't want to post it on our Facebook. They messaged us directly instead.
Cowards.
Because they don't want the rest of the leagues to see.
Hey,
which I didn't realize that was a thing. I'm like, well,
stupid.
I'm going on a show and I'm going to talk about my fantasy stuff.
So it happened to me
live.
once. I asked for like a guy on Twitter for some fantasy advice, and then a guy from my league responded. He's like, "Oh, now I know what you're trying to do." Like, okay, relax.
Yeah, we all know what we're all going to do. We all use the same 3 lists.
Yeah,
relax.
I'm probably not going to make the playoffs as usual.
Yeah, exactly. So Duke. But yeah, so we're gonna rifle through that quickly, and then we're gonna press you on a couple of things that we think to be unconstitutional here in Canada. One question I got asked is actually about Josh Gordon. What do you see his value now that he's been reinstated in a post-Gronk Patriots lineup?
Here's the thing, guys. His talent has never been the issue. The problem is he can go AWOL at any moment, and I mean any moment. He could be lights out the first 4 weeks, then do something and get suspended. Yeah. Last time, guys, I don't know if you guys know this, he was dealing with 2 independent paternity lawsuits for child support because the guy hasn't made any money because he hasn't been playing.
It's crazy. I don't know how they live. These guys that just take years off. I don't know
how
they live.
Poorly.
Yeah, that too.
You guys don't. That's the problem with Josh Gordon because you pick him up like as a late round stash, absolutely to rely on him.
It's not you, it's Skype that's messing up.
Yeah, it is. All right.
Oh,
it's okay. So late round stash for Josh Gordon. Don't rely on him. Ideally, at least wide receiver 4 on your lineup. A question here. I got. Actually, I told Terry he was going to ask next, but I'll ask first,
go.
and then you.
I'll jump on.
The question I got is, this is on everyone's mind. Given the uncertainty with Zeke, do you think this is going to be another Le'Veon situation, or will we see Zeke suiting up within, let's say, the first 4 weeks of the season?
I think Zeke is going to be suiting up probably for the start of the season. If he misses anything, maybe a week. It's Melvin Gordon, guys, that's the big concern. That's the one you're going to have to hold out on. So I think Zeke Elliott is going to be back sooner than later just because the Jerry Jones factor, I just feel he's going to figure it out. He might sacrifice the future. He might pay whatever. But I think he'll get them back. Now, the guys you want to keep your eye on, though, if you do draft Zeke or even if you don't, because how often do we see somebody comes back, they take time off, they're late getting into camp, they tweak a hammy or a quad or something goes. So you want to be looking to pick up and stash Tony Pollard or Mike Weber, the 2 and 3 backs in that Dallas offense. Because if Zeke goes down or it is an extended holdout, because we can't just take that for granted anymore, then you got to go that way and make sure you got Pollard, who's been really shining, and then Mike Weber after that. But the big concern of starters not coming on is Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as a Cowboys fan, I've watched their preseason games, and Tony Pollard to me he looks unreal.
Yeah, I think guys, for PPR, I really like Tony Pollard in the draft. You guys know I'm a draft junkie. I watch the combine and go back watch the. Pollard, I love in a PPR format because he's a gadget guy. You can pop him as a wide receiver. You can have him do end around. You can put him in the backfield. You can have him in so many different ways, even the return game. So he is a real gadget player. Mike Weber, I also like because when you see him in practice and in the exhibition games, he has that hesitation that is Le'Veon Bell, Zeke Elliott-like in the backfield. Certainly not to the same extent, but the patience and the plant and the go. So I really like Mike Weber's upside too.
Given you mentioned Le'Veon Bell, and we mentioned it earlier in comparison to Zeke, but for Le'Veon Bell himself in a new team now, he's been a workhorse in the past. Taking a year off, not playing football, do you think that benefits him in terms of touches, or do you think that'll hurt him this season?
That is, it's such a question. It's one, he had a year off, his legs are fresh. Two, he's going to be rusty. And three, to me, what's that offensive line like? It got better. It's not the Pittsburgh type of offense. I think he's going to get the workload, but Le'Veon Bell is certainly not somebody who should be in the conversation as your first 3 picks because of those factors there, and it's on a worse Jets team. But heck, if you're at the end of your first round and you didn't get a running back, like it's much more comfortable with him as a back-end RB1, high RB2, but the upside is certainly there. And heck, if he can be 90% of what he was in Pittsburgh, you could have a steal.
Absolutely, man. Le'Veon Bell to me is probably, if we don't talk about him as the best in the league because he wasn't there last year, but I would put him up there for sure.
Yeah.
So one question I had to you is, who is we were talking before about Antonio Brown. So what's the number you gave me to Antonio Brown for, let's say, catches and touchdowns this year? Because I was saying he's not going to have a good fantasy year.
You know what? So I'll take this kind of Raiders situation as a whole. I'll give you kind of a 3-pronged answer to this. I think if you look at Antonio Brown, his fantasy value goes down from a year ago. Derek Carr's fantasy value goes up because you got a better weapon. And I'll tell you guys this. As a sleeper, I've been pounding the table for this guy for, it seems like, months. Terrell Williams is going to be the new Juju Smith-Schuster you just watch. Okay, that guy is going to be. You pick him up in the later round, mid to late rounds, he is going to be an absolute stud because he's going to benefit from Antonio Brown. So I think Antonio Brown actually raises the fantasy value of a Williams, of a Derek Carr, but his value is going to go down. And man, I don't know, with all this helmet stuff, like I assume he'll get sorted. But it's starting to weird me out a little bit. Like, what does this guy want to play at all? You know, I'm concerned.
We're saying that he's just trying to skip the preseason.
I think, yeah, probably. You know, you have that. So the potential is there. And Derek Carr, we saw before that injury, was rising at an elevated level. But what if things start to go south? Is he going to pout? Is he going to quit? That's where I get a little nervous with Antonio Brown.
Yeah, sure.
What do you? So we'll speed up the questions a little bit, just so we can get to the stuff that's really important. You know, the reasons we gotta slam you later in the show. DJ, what's his value this year coming off an off year?
Yeah, boy, David Johnson is. And how about this? You got pretty much the 1 and 2 picks from last year, Le'Veon Bell and David Johnson, looking to rebound. I do not trust anybody on that Arizona Cardinals team, guys. I don't. And it's not to say I'm not going to draft David Johnson if he's there. But again, I slide him down in the Le'Veon Bell category of a later bottom-end RB1, higher RB2. Because think about it. You have a running, squirrely little water spider quarterback in Kyler Murray. You got a loser out of college head coach from Texas Tech, Cliff Kingsbury. What's he going to do at the air raid? There's way too many questions. So I'm not putting... If I'm in a 12-team league and I got 12 and the running backs are coming off the board, do I take David Johnson? Sure, I don't love it, but I'll do it. Yeah. But I have no confidence in that Arizona Cardinals team, period, especially Kyler Murray.
It's funny because I was not high on Cardinals, but I'm like, they're not going to be as bad as people say.
Well, because they can't be.
They can't be, but I also think that when I watched their preseason game, I'm like, no, they're bad.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, they're bad. Like, Kyler Murray looks very flustered out there.
Look at how small he was. People say, "Oh, like you've seen the pictures on social media. It looks like he's 5'6".
Yeah, but his head is huge.
And guys, they have him at 207. If he's 207, I'm 300 pounds. Cool.
Yeah.
Come on.
He's going to be
squashed. Like he's just going to be absolutely slammed. He's going to be squashed. He can't see over. He can run around. But we know these edge rushers can run as fast as T.Y. Hilton now, right? So come on now. It's going to be a disaster, I think. Way too small. He's a smaller, skinnier Johnny Manziel. Not interested.
So from one mobile quarterback to another, just quickly, do you think Lamar Jackson can surprise everyone and sort of not be Patrick Mahomes, but be sort of the late pick that can have just a giant year based on what he can do with his legs and his arm in the season?
Yeah.
I will also say no. I don't believe in Lamar Jackson at all, mainly because his arm. I don't think he's very high, guys. Now, he might put up some stats running-wise, but if you look at where he ranked last year, teams are going to figure him out. And guess what? Harbaugh is going to be running. They've been running a very similar Colin Kaepernick-type offense to what his brother was doing in San Francisco. Well, guess what happened at the end of our poor guy Kaepernick? They figured him out. You pin the edges, you make him throw. So if you keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket and you make him throw, you're going to be getting some turnovers. So I do not believe in Lamar Jackson. I also think he takes too many risks with his body. He's tall, but he's very lean, and I think he's going to get hurt. So I'm not interested in Lamar Jackson either.
RG3-esque, I would say. RG3 had a great rookie year. Sophomore year wasn't great. Cam Newton had a great rookie year. Sophomore year wasn't great.
I wonder what they all have in common that you're referencing.
And his backup is RG3.
And his backup is RG3.
So one thing we do want to call the question, because your fantasy expertise... Sorry, go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, I was going to say, and the funny thing is, you say RG3-esque. Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson's backup is RG3. Yeah, so you have that there as well, right? Like I would be much more interested in taking a risk on, let's say, a Dwayne not for fantasy per se, but overall, Dwayne Haskins of the Washington Redskins. He was my top-rated quarterback coming out of this year. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to take a one-year flyer on a starter who has 1 year experience, I'll take the 6'4", 250 dude with a cannon arm. Thanks. That's what I'll take.
I agree. Now that no one's ever going to question your fantasy expertise, but I will say your outrageous take that you don't like Poutine, that's absolutely nonsense. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I just think it's because you're in Toronto.
Yeah, they don't make it well.
The death of food versus like we're in the hotbed of deliciousness that is
There's
Montreal.
Like one good restaurant in Toronto.
Yeah.
Burger's Priest.
Burger's Priest, absolutely.
Priest. You know what? That might be a very fair, because I have not a good poutine experience in Toronto. So maybe the next time I'm in town, I got to link up with you guys. Take me out and get me some good poutine. Change my mind.
Absolutely.
Well, I think before that, one of our producers, Duke, and I will be in Toronto actually. Maybe we'll link up and grab a good old fashioned before then on Labor Day weekend.
100%, boys. Let me know. Absolutely.
That'd be awesome. Thank you, Andy, for joining us. We know you got to go. This is a very busy time for you. Remember, you can catch him on it's 1050 TSN, right?
TSN 1050.
Yeah, TSN 1050, and then twitch.tv /Andy Mac Live, and everything on Twitter. I'll keep you up to date at AndyMC81.
And of course for DraftKings and Monkey Knife Fight. If you're as a dirty gambler as myself or Terry, Monkey Knife Fight is your place to go. Thanks for joining us, Andy.
All right, boys. Anytime.
Thanks, Andy. Appreciate it, buddy.
Bye-bye.
And you can subscribe. Yeah, you can always subscribe.
They get the shows, then they choose to listen to it or
subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and then follow us at Hot Sauce Sports on every social media.
No one, you can't be oversubscribed because that's not a word.
Exactly. So subscribe just the right amount of time.
Be a word.
He actually answered Baker Mayfield. It's taken out of context.
Yeah, it usually is.
Yeah.
Also,
I don't see Baker Mayfield as the type of guy, especially for a guy who got a lot of hate getting drafted last year, as high as he did. I don't see him as the type of guy to go and bash another quarterback getting drafted.
What I was going to say is, like, wasn't Baker Mayfield the guy that everyone was saying was drafted too high and proved all of us wrong?
Proved everybody wrong.
So, I mean, like, my biggest concern with the Giants is they might play Eli Manning another 3 years. They might drag Skeletor out the closet for another 3 years. It's nonsense. I will say, though, Duke, the way you read that, it's trade
if I didn't
months after the fact, not trade months. Trade months isn't a thing.
You don't use commas. I don't know what you want from me.
There wouldn't be a comma there either context.
Put the X in the 90s. The XFL have released the team logo designs, and they look awful. Thoughts?
We got a video. We got a.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay, so the Renegades one, me and Duke noticed they come straight out of Madden.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I've used that one. The
Brooklyn
Bandits.
No, Brooklyn. I also made a Brooklyn Bandits.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Brooklyn Bandits.
Houston Roughnecks.
I don't mind that one too much. It just looks like a junior hockey team.
Sounds like erotica.
That too.
The LA Wildcats.
LA Wildcat.
Wildcats looks like a baseball logo
I
because
just
of the
don't
LA,
like the
but it's
colors,
actually not
man.
that
It's too
bad.
basic.
It looks like how, like, you know, Grand Theft Auto makes like a fake Angels logo. Like, that's what that looks like.
Yeah. No, I like it though. I like the LA Wildcats. The New York Guardians. Why is it a pharaoh?
What are they guarding a pharaoh?
It looks like it's a pharaoh with a lion face.
Are they trying to move the team to Egypt?
Maybe. Cairo Guardians?
Perhaps.
Maybe.
Tampa Bay
Battlehawks.
Vipers.
More like Battlehawks.
No, but
right?
I think it's a
Seattle Dragons.
What are they?
fuck is that?
Gargoyles. I think it's a gargoyle.
What's cool though is I actually saw a 60-year-old biker chick with that dragon tattoo.
And also, my favorite ones are I like the Wildcats and I like the Defenders.
Also, why is
Yeah,
that?
the first looks like a soccer like shield.
Yeah,
why,
like a
why
regular
does DC always have to have the worst logos? They always have the most generic logos.
Because
in every
they
sport.
all have to put DC in their logo.
That's it.
So, and I and a K. You know,
Tampa Bay Vipers though, that one's extra terrible.
Vipers is weird because the color choice, man, yellow and green. But the jerseys are
I
probably
thought it was
sick.
red, to be
the
fair.
worst one is the Seattle Dragons. It legit looks like they just copy pasted a picture from Google.
How long do we give it
it's
this?
a
Huh?
it's a 50-year-old biker chick's tramp stamp. Is what
Yeah,
the
how
Dragons
how
is.
long are we giving this league?
1 year
2
exactly.
years. 2
One
years.
season.
2 years.
I'm
I
gonna give it 2 years.
A full
Give it
season
2
and then
years.
1 season of like,
Yes.
hey, we were good last year. We're only going up, and then done.
Hashtag you hate
He hate me. Rod Smart.
me. Mm-hmm.
Ladybird, U.S. national team star Carly Lloyd
Oh,
hit
yeah.
a 55-yard field goal in Eagles practice. Should the Bears sign her?
Absolutely not. It was the second time she did this though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second time
Soccer
she did
players can kick. It shouldn't be surprising.
She did it at the Texans training camp too, apparently. But yeah, why not? I think it's gonna happen soon where they get a girl to play in the NFL for sure, as a kicker, punter, or whatever, to start off, and then maybe receiver. There's this one girl. She plays tackle football in Texas. She got a D1 scholarship offer. She's unreal, unreal. So it's gonna happen eventually.
I think so, and like, I wouldn't scoff necessarily at the idea of Carly Lloyd. I don't know why, in general, they haven't gone to soccer players for kickers before.
Most
Tony
people do.
Meola, the ex-US
Remember Tony Meola?
goaltender.
Oh, yeah.
He was signed as the Jets punter and then didn't make the team.
Didn't make his team. It's weird.
But
it's different, right? It's
It
not
is,
the
but I
same
mean,
thing.
but kicking a field, like punting, I understand. Kicking
Yeah.
a field goal, you're kicking in a straight line mostly.
Yeah, it's a lot harder than it looks, though.
I don't think
but
so.
But most kickers are former soccer players.
True.
What I never understood with kickers is why they wear 2 different shoes.
Because they're dumb.
Next.
Screw and ball. Baseball players have been using gas station sex drugs at such a rate that the league had to put out a memo declaring that they may test positive for PEDs.
Okay, Nick Castellanos. This is the answer. He's been taking all those fucking garbage
Nice.
gas station pills, and he went fucking loco.
He did. Well, look, one thing's for certain. He's hard as fuck.
Yeah.
His brain, however, melted by all these sex drugs.
Melted, very soft, very moist.
It's not bad when you see how far baseball's come because at first, Rafael Palmeiro in ads for sex PEDs. Now it's all about sex PEDs. They're all in it. Rafael Palmeiro, you're basically a hero.
You're basically
DC silence. Despite being bloodied and bruised, Stipe Miocic reclaims title against Daniel Cormier. Tell me about it.
It was crazy because DC beat the piss out of him for almost 4 rounds, and then all of a sudden
that was insane.
But it's kind of the same thing that happened against Stipe, you know.
But is that just like the youth? You think is that like Daniel Cormier just got tired because he's older?
No, Daniel Cormier is the king of the grind. That's his nickname, and he knocked
That
out.
was
Stipe.
his nickname.
That was. He knocked out Stipe before. I still think Daniel Cormier is the best heavyweight of all time.
I kept hearing about how this fight, Daniel Cormier need to like stay upright, and he kept taking Stipe to the ground, which is traditionally been his strength anyway. So
they're both wrestlers, yeah.
Absolutely,
but
but
DC is a much more established wrestler.
100%. But Daniel Cormier didn't shy away from sort of like his like more youthful style and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it just looked like at the end, Stipe had more steam.
Stipe, it wasn't that he had more steam. He had more steam than last time.
Yes, true.
And DC said it best at the end of the fight because the last time they fought, he knocked him out in the first round. And he's like, this is the Stipe that I thought I was going to get the first time. So he's like, I didn't anticipate him being like this after I already fought him and it wasn't impressive. So he's like, hats off to him. But DC, man, best heavyweight of all time. I don't care what anybody says. Best heavyweight of all time. He's lost 1 round. People say that Stipe is.
Okay.
Because he's defended the belt more often. But DC has lost 1 round his entire heavyweight career. 1 round, including that fight.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And that was like 10 years ago when he fought Josh Barnett. Next.
Over.
That's it?
one more.
Yeah,
No,
one
we
more.
don't. Not in my script.
Who?
Oh yeah, Josh Gordon. He's back. Tell me about it.
Josh Gordon's back. Like Andy Mack said, he's going to be a millionaire off that $5 Cleveland Browns ball that he signed there, Josh Gordon. So, I mean, Josh, I think the fact that they brought him back shows how good, what his character, like he must be like a good guy. He just
teams keep wanting to give him a chance, which is rare in the NFL.
But it's the same team that's given him a chance 3 times now.
But that's usually the team that doesn't, right? And Cleveland before that kept giving him a chance over and over and over. And like right now, anyway, Cleveland is a well-run organization. Yeah. The Patriots are a well-run organization. Yeah. I will say, however, if Robert Kraft was still spending money on the rub and tug, he probably couldn't pay off the NFL to get Josh Gordon reinstated.
That is a solid point.
You're welcome, FBI.
FBI, like you forgot how to spell FBI.
I did. I was like the feds. I go FBI. FIB. You're welcome. I guess we're not doing the segment again we had planned because Terry's got to go. At some point, I will react to Hard Knocks. But for now, I'm hard knocking us the hell out of here. Bye, Terry Tam. Bye, Eagle. Bye, Duke. I'm Peeze. You've been listening to Hot Sauce Sports. You've been listening to Hot Sauce Sports.